All right, we live.
It should always says off air for me.
I
Says
just
live for me.
it just switched live to me for me.
No, I
I
did.
guess because I'm the host, it goes live for me first.
uh,
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Go ahead. Did you want to go?
I was wondering like who's gonna do the intro because we never decided. We were just like, come on, we gotta start right now.
It doesn't matter. Y'all know how this goes. It's not like this is the most professional show in the world. So, whatever's.
I still think we do a much better job than other people's podcasts, though.
Oh, definitely, definitely, definitely.
We got a lot of shit to talk about.
Yeah. So, all right. Let me say, welcome to the show, everybody. This is episode number 20 of the
Damn,
talk show
20?
about everything. Damn, I almost forgot the name of the talk show. A lot to discuss. So, who wants to kick it off first? What topic?
Well, shit, we was already briefly talking about Phil Spencer's interview and what he had to say about the PS4.5 and the Xbox One and a half. That's what the article called it. I personally think that's a stupid ass name. I much like them calling it the Xbox One Next Generation. That just sounds better to me.
Sounds
But
like Star Trek TV
yeah,
show.
yeah. But I mean, it just sounds better to me. Like one and a half. Like what are we
I don't think
getting?
they're gonna call it one
Half the
ass.
Xbox.
That's just people throwing out names because nobody can think of anything.
But that's so crazy that
Just like the
people take.
PlayStation 4.5. Who did?
Yeah,
People
but
aren't
why do
inventive
people
enough
take
to come
to
up with
that? It's
like.
so retarded.
Yeah, that's just the media not being able to find a way to come up with anything.
Like I much
That's all.
rather, as corny and as ridiculous as it is, I much rather PlayStation Neo, PlayStation 4 Neo. Like I much rather that than PlayStation 4.5. Like that shit is fucking ridiculous.
I mean, who
Or
knows?
PlayStation 4K. That's even fucking better than PlayStation 4.5. Like that point 5 shit really irritates me. But regardless, Phil Spencer said he's not a fan of the idea of Xbox One and a half. He likes it, the console generation thing. It takes some time before the new consoles come out. He's not a fan of upgrading it periodically, and he much rather it be an upgrade and not an update. Is what I'm getting from the article, and basically how we jump from the 360 to the Xbox One. He doesn't want to like update the Xbox One on a yearly or every few years or some shit like that. So I understand where he's coming from. I agree to a certain extent, but I think there's certain things they need to do to improve consoles. What's the word? Versatility or something like that. Just with the hardware, because consoles are always like what 10 years behind or something like that. So
And I don't know. I guess going off what you just said, Modem. It's to me. I'm not as. I'm. Have we gotten to a place where the console war, which I think is really the biggest thing behind this, has gotten big enough to where desktop or console developers especially feel they have to compete with the other platform? I think PC wouldn't care either way. I think companies feel like they have to compete with PC gaming now, as opposed to saying we're consoles, we're going to be different, but we're going to have a different, like that's going to be the experience you buy a console for. I think I think it's partially a lot of companies buying into the console idea. It's like, oh well, we have to be able to compete with PC because everybody's saying PC is the best platform.
and I think
But
you hit the
we've been
nail on the
saying
head.
PC's been the best platform since the 80s.
Yeah, but that's the thing. The consoles before now, the console war existed,
When
but
did the internet come around?
what do
When
you
did
mean
the
by
internet? When did the internet
Oh, this
like?
is before internet. It doesn't even matter. Somebody had like a fucking God, what was the name of the damn computer? The Commodore, and
Right.
they looked at your Atari. They laughed at you
I mean, but
back then. So
and that's the thing. But console manufacturers weren't I think, as concerned with, or in my opinion, to some degree, fearful of losing their market to the PC as they
You
are now.
see, I think what's happening is the birth of social media has brought this about.
Well, I think
Before there
that's one
was
of their biggest problems is they pay too much attention to social media.
exactly, but it's like before the PC was this exclusive kind of crowd where you had to have a PC, you had to have access to the internet, and you would go to tech forums and game forums and stuff like that, and you would talk with other people that had similar interests and knew about what y'all were talking about and so on and so forth. That had nothing to do with casuals. Now, in the age of information on the phones and having access to the internet on your phones and everything, at a, whenever you want, has turned casuals into people with voices. And, like we say, the loud minority, they tweet at the companies, they do all this other shit, complaining and shit. And so they're, like Mike said, and like you're saying, they're buying into uh, people's opinion and, you know, um, buying into the console war hype. Like the loud minority are talking about console wars and PC. What I would want from consoles in the next generation is for it to meet the minimum standard of gaming. So if 10 years from now, the minimum standard for gaming is 4K 60 FPS, the consoles need to meet that guaranteed every game. That's what I would want. And they could do it. They could do it.
They
But
could. It's the cost, and that
It's
it
but
goes
see,
back to what
that's
makes
that's my
consoles
point. That's my
kind of
point.
the. But see, it goes back to what makes consoles the most inviting platform to a lot of casual people. Is that it's the set box that they know they're gonna get they're gonna get games that they can play, and it's at a decent cost.
Right.
That's always been their biggest things. Like until PlayStation fucked up with the PlayStation 3, we never had a console that cost a like ridiculous amount of money. I
Yeah,
mean,
PlayStation 3 was costing like $1,000
yeah,
for
that was
its
the fucking
lowest
six
model.
hundred dollar damn console, like ridiculous. Um, but they always stayed within a reasonable range that people are like, okay, I can get this. I know it's going to last me 10 years or whatever, 5 to 10 years. So my $400 or my $300 or my $200, I'm going to get my money's worth, and I'm going to be able to play games, and I'm going to have fun, and that's all I care about.
Right.
Yeah,
No, and
and
I agree. I agree wholeheartedly. I just think we're what, like 4 or 5 years into the console lifespan, right? Four or
are we?
5 years, or is it only three, or is it
it'll be 3 in November.
okay? So we 3 years in. 7 years from now, I can for sure see them providing 4K gaming at an affordable price.
I agree.
Even even if it's like
Okay, yeah,
medium
7 years from
textures.
now. But you got to think that's not probably going to be the minimum for PC.
I think. I
No,
mean,
no, no, not the minimum for PC.
No,
The
I'm just saying.
minimum.
You're saying that they want need to meet the minimum standard for gaming of PCs, right?
No, 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 not for PC, but the minimum standard
No,
of.
you're saying a console has to meet what are the minimum standards of a PC.
no. I think what he's
Or are
saying
you
is
saying
there's a certain like. I guess what he's saying is if they're going to come out and say kind of like what they did with this, where the buzzwords were 1080p 60.
Right.
If those are the buzzwords they're going to sue, if they're going to come out saying we're going to do 4K 60, then they have to be willing to put the technology in there to do 4K 60 10
okay?
years
Now
from now.
that I agree. If you say something, you meet what you speak on.
This and when we say that, we mean not upscaled native. Like
Right.
it's really, I think, like Mike said, it's a cost thing. Like
It's a cost thing, but it's also like 2K gaming. I would have said 2K gaming if 2K gaming would still be like a viable resolution in 7 years. I don't see 2K gaming being, a viable resolution and for P in 7 years. By 7 years, people are probably gonna be doing fucking 16K and pushing it to 20K and shit like that. And it's like
in about 3 weeks, we're about to see PCs take a significant jump, aren't we, Prod?
Oh my God, that show! I appreciate that so much.
and see, and that's the point, right? So,
but that's the thing.
Consoles need to at least provide 4K gaming in foreseeable 7 years, and maybe even 8K if they can really push that. I mean, I can understand 4K.
They'll do 4K in 7 years, because it'll become a cheaper product.
Like so the issue with 4K right now, I think the monitors are getting down in price, but they're still not commonplace. So, look, if you have a 1080p monitor and you're trying to play 4K, stop. Yeah, that's true as well. But I think the big thing now is that, like, costs still aren't low enough for even 1080p on the console. Like, consoles are coming out for what, $400 now?
Yeah.
I mean, my graphics card, which can pull 1080-60, the 970, cost me, when it came out, I guess, was it last year? 2 years ago? Something like that?
Yeah, are you playing 1080 on, like, Ultra, or?
No, like, to get 1080 on even high. Like, on some games, I can't do 1080 on high with everything turned up to that. Like, it's a lot of fiddling with settings to get it to a point where, like, because if we're just talking minimum specs,
right,
then consoles theoretically are doing that. They're playing most of the PC games on low to medium. Yeah, it's at a reduced resolution. But to me, like, the technology is still not at a cheap enough point to where if my graphics card that's not maxing out games, or it's getting close, it's on the upper end, if that's $300 some of a $400 console, either your CPU is going to be gimped or something about the console is going to be gimped. They have to. That 7 years might get them to 4K. I don't want to say it's a guarantee, especially not 4K 4K 60, because 4K 60 even right now is
muddy on a 980 Ti.
Like, yeah, you're talking 2 of those to be really good. I mean, yes, with the 1080, this might be some dramatic leap due to the new nanometer scale and a whole bunch of other boring stuff I think most people don't care about.
Yeah. And that's where we get into the casuals. The casuals are like, see, that's what I'm saying. Social media mixes the groups, right? You got the PC community, you got consoles, you got people in the middle, and you got this loud minority that's just all in the mix. And people are yelling like, no, our side is more important, no, this side is more important.
Well, one thing I've always said is that the internet has made everybody an expert about everything.
Exactly.
Which, all right, this is going to be a really quick rant, which should be true. I tweeted out about this earlier today. If you live in today's day and age, and you have a question about something, you should not have the same question a week later. You have access to so much information. You can become an expert, or at least experienced in the topic, if you take the time to research.
Yeah, I wouldn't.
Well, that's the thing. People aren't really doing research. They're grabbing.
And people don't know how to do research. Because we're saying this, and people would think research is typing Bill Cosby raped 50 women. See article, Bill Cosby raped 50 women. Oh, he fucking did it. Well, shit. And now they go spread. Yeah, he did it. I seen it. I looked it up. Yeah, I did on Google. Yep.
So for those wondering, research is finding multiple sources that agree about the same answer that you're looking for, and taking more than 5 minutes to look it up.
It's also looking at looking at counterpoints, looking at counter arguments.
Yeah, and why am I going to do that though? When if my boy tweets it, I just go, "Well, my boy." If I make a meme, the meme is the reality.
It's the truth. It's the fucking truth. Jordan crying face. Bill Cosby did it. He fucking did it. Like, that shit is crazy.
Exactly. Like, how many times have we seen the whole, like, if you say amen, you get $1,000 or some dumb shit like that. They're like, seriously.
But I always put this to somebody. Like, I agree. Like, people just do that. People do whatever. It's just one of those things nowadays. Like, Wikipedia is not a valid source, but it's a good starting point. Like, even if you just take the time to look up a Wikipedia article and read through it.
Look at a wiki to see what this is, and then I'll know what I'm looking for.
That's exactly what I mean. Like,
And me personally, I think Wikipedia is a good source, but it shouldn't be your only source. But that's also saying, like, whatever credible sources or whatever people consider to be credible sources, they always should look up other sources because there's so much that don't get said, or people only focus on certain points of something. No one ever just gives you the whole damn story. And it's like, just point being, when it comes to research, when it comes to gaming and what these consoles are doing and what the consoles makers are doing and what they're like shifting their focus to, is because social media has bridged the gap between all of the fucking communities. Everybody can reach the fucking companies now. People are saying, oh, hey, look, we're getting a lot of tweets about this. We should focus on this. And now they're shifting their focus. And it's just fucking shit up. Now, like I said, I wasn't opposed, and I was actually for upgrading consoles and shit like that, you know, if they do it right. But at the same time, I also know that wouldn't be a thing if the consoles did 1080p 60 frames per second without any problems, no hiccups, and all that shit, and it looked good. We wouldn't be talking about PlayStation Neo and all that shit if everything was just ready to go out of the box. The only
Honestly,
reason why
we wouldn't be talking about this if they didn't open their mouths. That was Sony's mistake, and that was Microsoft's mistake. By making the focus of their quote-unquote competition, I could do this, I could do that. They threw those numbers out there because before, you never heard them say those numbers. So nobody cared that through the entire generation, pretty much all the Xbox 360 and the PS3 did was 720.
They didn't do that.
You know, and they may not have done that all the time.
I
don't care
they didn't do 720 at all. And see, that's why. Hey, you can go, Pride.
And it's again, like, it goes back to the company opened their mouth because
of social media.
I'm exactly like and this is the thing I've always told somebody. Like, I do not expect a company. To not try to sell me their product, especially if you're talking about, like, they clearly see that apparently this is a hot topic issue for consumers. Yeah, they're going to promote it that way. Yeah, they're going to throw it out there. Yeah, they're going to argue it.
And see, there's nothing wrong with that, but
you gotta be able to back it up.
Not even just be able to back it up, but that's important too. But when you start throwing numbers out to the uneducated person, it's just numbers to them.
Yeah.
And when you get them excited about these numbers, and they're like, "Yo, that's huge," and I'm like, "Yeah, that's really good. Yeah, yeah." They don't even fucking realize that their 360 or PS3 wasn't even doing 720p. We haven't gotten HD gaming until this generation of consoles.
Here's the thing. I can throw out whatever. If I know that you're uninformed, I can say whatever, because until you choose to become informed, you won't really know the entire story.
There you go. How many people really are choosing to be informed?
People will hear this. People will hear, like, oh, this game is
50 women raped.
I'm saying all you have to say is this. Yeah, but they say that. And I'm like, with games now, they come out and say a game is running at 1080p, and people won't say a word about it.
Right.
Word about it. The people that know might question it. The people that don't will just sit there and take it. And then it only becomes a thing when somebody that is generally informed will say, oh, no, this is actually upscaled. Oh, no, this is actually this. This is actually this. And then, yeah, that trickles down. But it's like the idea of you still don't understand the issue at hand.
Pride.
Yes.
Who would you fault? The consumer or the company? Because the consumer, for me, I wouldn't fault the companies, because the consumer does not care about native versus upscale versus downscale or whatever. They care about what is being told to them. They don't give a fuck if Bill Cosby raped 50 women. Tell me, did he do it or did he not? That's all I want to know.
This is something that I've felt since the whole Gamergate situation started to rise up. Directed at companies. If you want gamers to respond like adults, treat them like adults. Give them the whole truth. Just be straightforward, be honest, and you won't have people losing their shit. Gamers, be fucking reasonable people. Don't just automatically assume everything is horrible and they're trying to do the worst thing ever. Get informed, find out what's going on, and then make a decision. And don't just be like, I think they lied, okay? EA needs to burn. Just nobody buy EA games because they're evil. And it's this idea of like, gamers want to be treated like adults, but a lot of the time there's the vocal minority that, and I always say this to the silent majority, that's why you have to speak up as the kind of the silent majority more often, because the vocal minority is becoming the face of gamers. And so gamers look like children because of the vocal minority, because the silent majority aren't talking, aren't saying anything, aren't bringing this forward. So companies are like, well, we'll just tell them what they want to hear so that we don't have a problem. And the company shouldn't be doing that, but it's like a catch-22 for both sides. Nobody is willing to take the step to fix the system. People just want everybody else to adhere to what they want.
Yep, and it's created other opportunities because, like media, every time something comes out,
also people who are informed don't want to let them live. People who are informed don't want to let them live. Like, we all, like, people who are informed about the Xbox One and its capabilities, as soon as an Xbox One game drops, they instantly want to know what's its frame rate, what's its resolution, how many hours the game
we've generated that culture, though. Look at the media. The first thing that you get when you get an article these days normally is they always do a side-by-side comparison. They always ask what's the, like, because they know we feed on that shit.
That's true, but it's at, like, the same time. As soon as, like, Phil Spencer, great guy, honest, he's not saying anything that's outrageous, or he's not, like, trying to be like, yeah, Xbox is the end-all, be-all for gaming. There's nothing better than Xbox, blah, blah, blah. He's just, like, trying to, without sugarcoating and without, you know, directly acknowledging the cons of his console, trying to market his fucking console. But the people, some of the people informed and know a little bit, don't want to fucking let them live and just market their shit. And that's a big ass problem too. Same thing with PlayStation. Same thing with PC. Whenever somebody is like, well, your shit doesn't do what mine do, that's a fucking problem. Because it's not about that.
And this is what I'll ask you the question of. Like, I think, again, it goes to both sides. You have no reason to be antagonizing somebody. But, like, for instance, like, I'm going to speak from personal experience. I'm one of those people that, like, when a new game comes out, I will, whether it's PC, PS4, Xbox One, whatever it is, if I'm thinking about getting the game, I'm going to care about performance. I think there are a group of people that will say, like, oh, well, your thing can't do this. And if it can't do it, oh, well. Like, I think the response is not, like, people want to justify their purchases. We've talked about this before.
Yeah.
And so, like, if you're like, oh, well, your thing can't even do this, it sounds really bad. It sounds really horrible, and you don't want to hear it, but that doesn't mean try to pick a fight about it. Just be like, well, I chose to spend my money this way. This is what I wanted. I don't really give a fuck.
Yeah.
Like, if how you spend your money is decided by how many other people validate your purchase, you need to reevaluate why you're spending money.
Yeah.
Because you're not even buying things you want, you're buying things that people say you should want, and you're basically being marketed to 24/7 by whoever.
I just personally feel like these companies didn't start acting like this until, you know, the birth of social media and Twitter and all this other shit, and people just blabbing whatever fucking comes to their mind without thinking about it.
And I agree with you. Social media created a new market, and like any business that wants to make money, the smart ones jumped on it, found the best way to use it to their advantage
Right.
and have profited from it. And they're
And
not going to
there's
stop.
nothing wrong with that until it started fucking shit up. You know?
I mean, you can look back to Ubisoft, where Ubisoft fucked up with what was it, Unity, where they basically came out and said that, yeah, we
I think they
downgraded the
fucked
game
up
for
with.
consoles.
I think they fucked up with Assassin's Creed, period. But that's just my personal opinion.
I'm like, it's
No,
like,
I know. But when that whole console parity shit, like, and
it's
that's the thing. Social media started making these companies lie and come out with double dealings and all this other shit. No one gave a fuck about resolution. We've talked about this. No one gave a fuck about resolution until recently. I blame social. This is what I blame, honestly, for this whole situation we're in right now as a gaming community, whether you're PC or console, whatever. I blame Call of Duty for its fucking success and the whole talk of 720p, 60 frames per second. I blame fucking social media, and I blame fucking uneducated people, whether they're in the companies or they're the gamers. Because uneducated people in the companies are just like, yeah, give them what they want. And uneducated gamers are just like, we want. So they're like, yeah, we want this. And they're like, yeah, give them that. Everybody happy? No? Why not? It's like, it's fucking stupid. So Call of Duty, fucking social media, and uneducated people.
and now the first one is the one that I have probably the only issue with, because I think this doesn't even just go to gaming. It goes to anything that is a hobby, a niche, that becomes something that is more widely accepted. I think I can't be mad. I'm happy that the gaming industry has exploded the way that it has. Like, that more people are gaming, that gaming is more accepted. If it wasn't, I don't think we'd see a lot of the things that we see even to this day happening in gaming.
Well, should I not say, not Call of Duty success, but let's say Call of Duty had the same success, but no one cared about its quote unquote 720p 60 frames per second performance. When, for one, it was a lie. No Call of Duty on Xbox 360 performed at 720p native at all. So when the series and the franchise was doing numbers and just kept doing numbers, all they kept talking about, the people who knew a little bit and blah, blah, blah. And they're like, well, why is Call of Duty so successful? Oh, it's the 720p, 60 frames per second. People love the feeling of it. And that's all they kept saying.
And this is where I would disagree. I think the real situation we have now, it came from that expansion. Because I think eventually people started, once you play Call of Duty, you play Call of Duty, you play Call of Duty, eventually you want to try something else. And for people that, again, are still new, they're still becoming informed, they go ahead and see something at E3. They go ahead and see something at whatever gaming show they see, but it's only coming out on PC. The natural question is why? If you have no other experience gaming-wise, you don't know the differences, you don't really get it, all you know is that it's only coming out for PC.
Okay.
There's two opportunities here. One, somebody comes forward and talks and explains the actual differences, the pros and cons of both sides, and really talks about what the difference between console and PC is and why both are relevant. The alternate is you get the trolls of the internet that's going to come out and be like, oh, that's because the thing that you bought is a piece of shit, and haha, you're stupid, and blah, blah, blah. And that, I think, magnified itself thousands upon thousands of times over into the console war, which has now has created hype culture, anti-hype culture. All of it has, the entire place we're in gaming now is because I think gaming got so big that people started asking questions, and it wasn't an environment where people were informed, but that trolling, where it's like, you're like, I'm gonna insult you because you don't know something.
Right. No, and it makes sense, but I'm more so blaming Call of Duty success on the whole caring about resolution, because people now equate a game's success to its resolution and frame rate.
Yeah.
That's like, I personally blame Call of Duty success for that, because if Call of Duty wasn't as successful, and we wouldn't care so much about resolution right now, or the casuals, that large market of casuals wouldn't care about resolution like they do now. But because they've learned from resolution, from Call of Duty success, now they equate a game success to resolution and fucking frame rate. And now that transferred over into, companies, and now they're coming out with all this console parity. Consoles can't do this, PC can, 4K gaming, 1080p, 60 frames a second, sub 1080p, 900p, like all this other shit. And like people, I remember when the next gen consoles, current gen, came out, people were like, why would you be happy with a machine that can only do 720p or 900p? As a console gamer primarily, why wouldn't I be happy with a machine that does better that does better than the previous generation? Because previously, we never had HD gaming. Consoles didn't have HD gaming until this generation. So why wouldn't I be happy with that? You see where I'm coming from?
I mean, I get what you're saying, but I think that the issue, like, it extends beyond that. Because again, if somebody, like, the person that sits up here and says, why would you be happy with that? Why the fuck does it matter to you? You're not buying it. Like, it's that same mentality of like, well, I need some reason, and this doesn't just extend to gaming, this extends, in my opinion, social media and culture nowadays. I have to find some platform, whatever it may be, what I own, what I don't own. The decisions I make on a day-to-day basis have to put me on a level that I can say, I am better than this next person.
Right.
And it's this mentality, especially in, I'll say, American society, where we're always trying to one-up each other, that the person that comes to you and says, oh, well, why would you be happy about that? There's no reason to say, like, you can ask the question. If you want a legitimate answer, let him come back and say, well, I primarily play consoles, and I do this, I do that. And be like, all right, I understand your point of view. Don't make it into, like, I don't know. I think we're so much more about self and trying to make self look good nowadays that we forget that we aren't everybody else. What we like, what we dislike, how we feel is not how the person you're talking to has to feel.
How did you feel, or if you played, I don't know if you played Ultimate Edition. Did you play? Yeah.
No, I didn't get my hands on it.
Okay. Have you seen screenshots of it, or like watch a gameplay of the campaign?
I've watched some gameplay of the campaign.
How did you feel it looked compared to last gen?
Better. Not like this, like, complete reimagining of the game, but it looked better. It looked like a step up. Graphical, like, detail-wise, I think it was a little bit more detailed.
To me, it was like night and day. And it was like night and day because, like, I recently went back and played Gears of War 1 before Ultimate Edition came out. And the comparisons, I noticed, like, the shading, the lighting, the details in the environments and stuff like that. Even the missions at night were different. Like, missions at night were like night and day between the two games. And it's like, people were upset that the Ultimate Edition campaign wasn't 1080p 60 frames per second. Whereas I wasn't, because I seen that it was a complete fucking difference from Gears of War 1 and me, in my eyes.
This is what I'll argue. Like, a lot of people haven't touched Gears 1 since, what, 2006?
Yeah.
A lot of people haven't, like, and I think that's a matter of perspective and, again, being informed. Those people were looking to find something to complain about. If it wasn't that, they'd find some other reason to complain about it. I mean, you look at the fact that people were up in arms of the review scores that Gears of War 1 got. And I don't even get into reviews because that's a whole nother bag of worms. But
we already talked about all that. I just personally feel like you don't, to briefly talk on it, I just feel like you don't give it a high-ass rating of its time Like that's why I feel like, and I think we all said this at the end of our discussion, remasters remasters should just get a classic rating. Like, we're not gonna rate this because it's a classic. This changed the franchise back in the day, blah blah blah. And I understand the points comparative to today's games, it's not up to par.
Yeah, I mean
But
that's what I'm saying.
it
That's what I agree.
revolutionized things.
I think
And it just should be
remasters.
just classic.
You hit it right on the head. Remasters should be used as like a retrospective, as like look at how far we've come, versus oh this game is like a new game. Let me give it this whatsoever.
Right, like a new IP or some shit.
It could be used for retrospective, and I think that would be perfectly okay.
But as far as the future with these consoles, I don't know if Xbox will do next generation so soon, and I hope they do wait. If from what Phil Spencer says, he wants to do an actual upgrade and not an update, and I can rock with that. So, if PlayStation does come out with a Neo or what the fuck ever, it is what it is. I wouldn't be surprised if the VR set comes with a console add-on that you plug into your PS4, and it uses both hardware. Yeah, right. The breakout box, it connects to the PS4, and that makes the PS4 technically stronger. Like, okay, that's cool. But other than that, it's like whatever.
I would really like to see what they give the specs of the breakout box.
And on that topic, if you're a fan of Xbox, I also don't get why you necessarily have to have it. Like, I get it from some respects, but I also make the point of it would just be a rose by another name. Like, you would then just have, like, it would just be an Xbox One with a different name because PlayStation did it, or PlayStation does it because Xbox does it. Like, that's what the NX is. The NX is Nintendo finally saying, all right, we have to compete on a certain level. Like, I think I liked the fact that Nintendo did something different because it always was like, there's Microsoft and Xbox. Like, each console should have its own identity. Its identity should sell it, not just the Microsoft or PlayStation name.
And see, Nintendo is so big, they don't have to compete with Microsoft and Sony. And we can use this into the next segue I wanted to talk about. But Nintendo having its own IPs, they can even make new IPs and so on and so forth. And they're, exclusive hardware. And what they do with it, they were being creative. I feel like Nintendo's downfall is the lack of actually adding things to their, let's say, repertoire of creating games. None of the fucking games got voice acting. There's no mature games, and I don't necessarily want some Grand Theft Auto or some shit on a Nintendo platform, but there's no games that is for a more mature audience. You know what I'm saying? And
it's sad to say, but that just might be that Nintendo didn't keep up with the change in, like, society as a whole.
Exactly, but also the Wii U, where like I got kind of caught up with it. I got caught up in the Wii U is trash. Like it's just now getting up to where the 360 was, and that was me being ignorant. And then it was like looking at it now, it's like the Wii U was a fucking upgrade to the Wii. The Wii was like compared to the Wii U is trash, bro. Like lower than trash, fucking compacted and shit. Like the Wii U was an upgrade. It made their games look better. It made them able to do more shit on screen and all that shit. And that was cool. Now with the NX, it's like, okay, you're increasing your hardware again. What the fuck y'all gonna do to Mario? Like with more hardware power and shit. They're gonna have fucking 8 people on the screen and all this other shit. Like that's just gonna be fucking chaotic. That's not gonna be fun. But even with all that being said, it's like, why don't you add voice acting? Why don't you add, some new IP, some more mature games for
And
your more mature audience.
I don't know. Part of me is, and I guess that's my issue with that idea is that like to me that's not Nintendo.
The mature thing.
Like Nintendo's biggest selling point and Nintendo's identity, and yes, you sometimes have to re-identify your identity. Is I
Well, maybe
just
not
realized I said
mature.
identify identity.
Right.
Um,
But maybe
but
not mature games, but just like voice acting. When's the last time Nintendo games have fucking voice acting besides the little pixie bitch talking about, hey, listen, hey, like, when's the last time we got some fucking voice acting from Nintendo?
They don't.
and it's I don't know. Like to me, I'm like I still make the point. Like thinking about if I have kids, I I don't know if I would let my kids play a PS4 or Xbox One. I really don't, because I think back to myself and the fact that I probably shouldn't have been playing on them when I was in middle school. Like there are legit things because that's also how I was raised. I should make the point. Like growing up, I had a PlayStation and I had a Nintendo, but my parents also set pretty strict ratings on like we weren't getting games that were rated above teen most of the times.
Right, right.
We weren't getting M-rated game. Like I think my first M-rated game, well, beyond Mortal Kombat. Mortal Kombat was like that one exception.
Right.
But beyond that was like Gears of War. I had like a few on the N64, but beyond that, I wasn't getting them constantly. I
Right,
think it's
right.
changed now to where like Call of Duty, like you said, is the standard, and so people don't read ratings. Having worked in retail, the amount of times a kid looked at me like he wanted to beat my ass because I told his parents what was actually in Grand Theft Auto 5.
Bronze a snitch.
No, I'm not doing
Yeah,
that. Like,
we're here
No,
for
but you
Grand Theft Auto
should, because
5.
you could lose your job. Seriously.
You gonna play Grand Theft Auto 5? No, it's for my son right here.
because
Do you know
people,
what's in Grand Theft Auto 5?
like legitimate. And here's the thing: people don't remember that there was talk of like instituting a law against selling M-rated games with with minors playing it. It's a stupid
Right.
law. It should be up to the parents, yes. But that was my point. I will tell the parents what's in it, and if the parents is like he wants it, give it to him.
Right.
Yeah, at least the parent knows and they're informed and they understand what they're spending their money on. Instead of just walking in like, I don't know, Timmy wanted this, and the store being like, okay.
Because yeah, like I always make that point. Like you do know that there are strip clubs and violence and cursing and torture and things in this game that some adults wouldn't be comfortable with.
Right.
Yeah, you just about to give it to little Timmy because little Timmy is like, I want. First of all, the game is called Grand Theft Auto. Can we discuss that?
But I mean, okay, even with the title, right? How long has it been since Grand Theft Auto was actually about Grand Theft Auto? Like, Grand Theft Auto hasn't evolved into. You said since when, Mike?
2.
Okay, a long ass time ago. So, point
Yeah,
being,
that would be late 90s.
So, point being, right? Like, Grand Theft Auto keeps the name because it's a brand, but it just hasn't been about Grand Theft Auto. I can say if I was a parent and my kid was playing some 8-bit overhead dude chasing after cars and stealing them and shit like that, I may be okay with that.
Oh,
But
no,
this
it's much
shit-
more than that. You can shoot people.
Oh yeah, I played it. I know, but I'm saying
Murder.
like, yeah, I know, but it didn't look so much like murder. Like their animations for murder was the dude dropping to his side and then like a pool of blood, like looked like some red Kool-Aid or some shit. Like it was very mild compared to shit like that. Even Call of Duty, like, and what's being displayed on TV and all that shit. Some things are just the norm now, but Grand Theft Auto 5 is a total difference between 8-bit side characters falling on their, backs and shit and a little pool of Kool-Aid blood. It's a total fucking difference. But even with that being said, back to Nintendo, I wouldn't necessarily want that from Nintendo. But I would want voice acting. I would want actual new IPs. I would want
See,
just not just rehashes of the same
and if
shit.
I'm 100, I'm not even so much about new IPs. I'm like, utilize the fucking IPs that you have.
Yeah, they got so many IPs that they don't
But
even
see,
touch
that's my
anymore.
point. It would be like it's to the point now for me. Whatever they bring out is a new IP because we don't forgot about everything fucking else. Damn near
Like,
anybody who, unless you was like a
and
super
this
fucking
is
fan
this is
and you would
exactly
never
what I'm
pick at
making
these
on.
games.
Like Nintendo, you want an adult, an M-rated or a high T-rated, a dark Metroid game that's not Metroid Other M. Give people that. People will take a dark Metroid game. People love the Metroid Prime series.
I mean, that's the thing. The Metroid Prime, like, they were darker, but they didn't go over the top. You don't. Nintendo doesn't have to go
And
Grand Theft Auto with it.
I always like it's about finding that
Exactly.
Nintendo needs to find that Disney balance where a Disney movie can appeal to
No, you know what they need
adults
to. You know what they need?
but can also be
They need
targeted at
that
kids.
Marvel balance. They need that fucking
Oh yeah,
Marvel
that's
balance.
Disney.
Well, yeah, Disney does own Marvel now, don't they, or something like that?
Yeah, but no,
That's
I
what
get
they
what both of
need.
you are saying. Yeah, they can keep it like where it appeals to both demographic, or at least where if I were to introduce my kids to this, I don't have to worry about him seeing like some dude banging the shit out of a chick in a goddamn car. You know,
Right.
after he leaves the strip club with her, after rubbing on her titties. You know, stuff
Yeah.
like that. Yeah.
Yep. But Pokemon Sun and Moon was announced not too long ago, and today they announced or revealed the 3 starting Pokemon. Either you care about Pokemon?
I'm too old for Pokemon.
Too old.
Never got into Pokemon.
Okay. Right.
It's Pokemon. People expect me because I'm a '90s kid. Because my first game was Pokemon.
Right.
I don't care that much. I'll
Okay.
probably play it at some point just to see if this will be the Pokemon that I fall back in love with the series.
You don't want to be Owlet? Isn't that one of the names?
I'll give
It's
like
like roll it or some
look.
shit.
I'll be 100% with anybody right now. I'm gonna pick the fire starter. I always pick the fire starter. That's just gonna happen. I don't really care. There's not been a Pokemon game that I have played that I did not pick the fire starter, except for my second playthrough of Pokemon Silver. I want to say that was the one exception. But I always played my first time through the game on a fire
I
starter.
very rarely ever pick. I pick whichever one look like a boy. That's the one
And-
I usually
and-
pick.
Fuck the water starts.
But I guess I would be the only one here who's
Okay, so you
excited.
picked the cat then, Prod. I'm looking at it now.
Right. He would pick the cat. I'm thinking about picking the cat too. Cat look kind of badass. But
Cat looked like an asshole, which is perfect.
yeah, he does.
Yeah, he kind of does look like fuck you looking at it.
And I think the water Pokemon is supposed to appeal more to the women. Like it's a fucking seal, bruh. It's a seal. And it looks like one of those seals I like to play with balls and shit and balance it on his nose. Like, I'm straight. But, you know, they announced starters. And pretty excited for it. They're setting this game in Hawaii. And I probably will be playing this with my girlfriend. And,
I gotta
and
buy
we
a
also
3DS. I just thought about that.
already got mine. Yeah. No, but they also showcased the legendaries. Look like some big ass bat and a big ass lion.
I'm trying to see. All right, best looking legendaries in a while. I'm sorry, the legendaries fell off.
I will say X and Y legendaries were cool for me, but these legendaries does look badass.
I think the Y one I liked. I don't think I liked the fucking elk.
Yeah, the deer motherfucker. That one was kind of weird, but
That's just me.
you know,
Also, heads up for those that don't know, if you don't get Pokemon Sun, you garbage. All right, just
right?
out there.
I saw Black.
Pause. Wait.
That's how it always is. Look. I will go back through the series. Red was better than blue and yellow. Silver was better than gold and sapphire. Ruby was better than emerald and sapphire. What came after that?
So what? The first one's always the best.
No, this is just the order I'm listing them in. Like black was better than white. X.
Black to
Y
me
was
was
better than
weird.
X. Y was better than X. And this is completely based off of the covers. This has nothing to do with the gameplay whatsoever. This is based off of the covers. Like, I want to be 100% clear. This is purely like aesthetic based. Has nothing to do whatsoever with the series, and it's purely personal. And hence why Sun is better than Moon. Although Moon is definitely one of the better looking alternatives.
And for me, I'm just wondering where they're taking the story at this point, because it's been a while since they tried to since Pokemon really had a story to it. Like Red didn't really have a story to it. It was like the story is you play this, you become the Pokemon champion, that's the end of the game. The next generation Johto kind of got a story to it, and now the TV shows and the fucking games are matching each other. Ash is still fucking 10. But just overall, it's funny how they keep coming out with Pokemon games. It's like, okay, where are y'all taking the story now? Because there's a Pokemon God, there's a Pokemon this, like it's all this shit with these legendaries that are like just up there, right? And it's a crazy ass story.
I'm gonna link you something.
Oh my god. But just in general, I'm excited for it. I'm a fan of Pokemon, but I'm not like these other dudes who like. We just gonna leave it at that. Y'all know what I'm talking about. I'm not like them.
That's a good one.
That's exactly.
I know what I'm talking about.
I love Pokemon. I'm enjoying Pokemon. It's just
I have to put this in chat.
I will say.
Wait, where'd you send it?
I sent it in the Google
It's in
Hangout.
our chat.
Oh, let me see if I can see it. You might have to put it in Twitter for me.
All right.
Oh, I'll retweet it.
It's so good. I just appreciate that on a completely different level. Internet, this is one of those times that I'm really proud of you. Keep doing you, Internet. Keep doing you. So I guess the other big thing that happened yesterday, I know, Modem, you don't have a PS4.
Yeah, fuck PS4. Xbox for life, nigga. No, I'm just fine.
Damn. I haven't had a chance to touch it just yet, and I believe based on tweets, Mike unfortunately hasn't either. Have anybody
motherfucker
of Uncharted 4?
Hey, yo, really? I've been seeing so many videos of like, yo, the first 50 minutes of Uncharted or whatever, and I was gonna watch it, and then like tease fucking Mike about it. I thought about doing it.
Don't do it. You know what's fucked up?
Doing it.
Oh, just like real brief for the chat. Long story short, Amazon messed up my pre-order because my old card was attached, even though I set my new card as a default payment.
Oh, you have to change it on the actual order, sir.
Huh?
You have to change it on the actual order, sir.
I changed the card on the order.
Amazon doesn't like you, sir.
Yeah, I know.
Fuck yo, Uncharted.
So they held it back, and we're saying I'll get it Thursday. So, of course, I complained and all that. They hit me with a letter at 1 a.m. of all things. That's the thing that fucked me up. I'm asleep. What the hell are you emailing me at 1 a.m. trying to explain, like, basically telling me I didn't understand the rules and how it works for pre-orders. I wouldn't have ordered the goddamn thing if I didn't know how the pre-order thing worked, which is guaranteed pre-order delivery.
From Amazon, before you say that, look at somebody's account. Recognize how many times they've pre-ordered something before you say some dumb shit.
And that's the thing. I've gotten everything I've pre-ordered on release day. The only time I didn't, I think it was a holiday. And that's understandable because certain things don't run on holidays.
You better give it to me early.
Okay. No, and a lot of times I've gotten things early. I've gotten a couple of games like 2 days early and stuff like that. So it's nothing new. Nothing's changed. I know your policies. Why are you telling me that? And clearly they know that I know because they're going to send it to me tomorrow because they upgraded me to 1-day shipping without me saying anything. Just on the low. They were like, here you go. We're going to send it in 1 day.
Take this. You owe us now.
Yeah. So they basically trying to like make up, motherfucker. Anyway, continue on with the...
Now I was just asking the question of if anybody's... I haven't looked at anything.
I refuse to look at single player. I'll watch multiplayer. But I refuse to watch any campaign shit. You're not spoiling it for me.
I must be like the only person in the world that is not hyped for this game.
Or
I also was threatened by Blak if I didn't get it. Shout out to MicroATX for coming through because my car fucking broke down.
You know you want to run with me and SB. Come on, dog.
I want to run Paragon and yell at people. That's what I want to do.
Co-op. Come on. You know you want to run that co-op.
Speaking of Paragon, I officially broke 3 days worth of playtime this past week.
Oh, I'm surprised you just did 3.
I mean, I had to take a break from it for a little bit. Don't worry. By the time we do next podcast, I'll probably be at like 5.
Oh, I will expect 7, sir.
I can honestly do that. I might have to stream it.
Yeah, I'm surprised you haven't.
That's a complete...
I guess Overwatch and Battleborn. Plus Red Knot.
Oh,
from what I played, Overwatch is pretty cool.
That's something I want to talk about. That is something I do want to mention.
Well, that's why I said it's
First of all, Overwatch is cool. Boom. Overwatch is cool. I'm gonna leave that alone. But Battleborn, this game, I loved during beta, and I enjoy the game, but I don't have the desire to play it that much, and I can't put my finger on it. I think, and this is something that maybe both of y'all...
I blame Blizzard.
To speak to. I think that for me, and this is going to be my thing, because at this point, I think Paragon and Battleborn exist in the same series. First of all, Overwatch is fun as shit. I'm going to keep saying that. Fucking Overwatch is... but I think because Battleborn is more of an FPS than it is a MOBA, I don't like it as much as I like Paragon. And I was wondering if y'all seeing these games... Which one looked or has looked more appealing to you? I know, Blak, your stance on Paragon, but I'm saying with Battleborn and I guess Overwatch can fall in there even though they're nowhere near the same game.
I mean, from what I can understand, they're not the same game. Overwatch is more of a team shooter, and Battleborn is more of a MOBA, right?
Yeah. Overwatch is more like Team Fortress 2, whereas Battleborn is more like a shooter with MOBA elements. It's probably the best way to explain. That's why I always compare Battleborn to Paragon, because I think they exist in the same spot.
Well, I mean, it's just like every military shooter being compared to Call of Duty, because it was military, it was first person, and you shot people. It's Call of Duty. Why play that when I can play Call of Duty?
That's true, though.
I mean, it's true to an extent, but not necessarily. Just like with Battleborn and Overwatch. They're both first person, but they both have characters, and it's like they're both first person, both have characters. You kill people. Same shit.
I guess I should then just ask in general, since as of right now it's closed, what are both of your feelings on Overwatch? Because I believe both of y'all did get a chance to play.
I think they need to fix their goddamn servers.
Give me 1 second. I will give you my opinions. I just have to step away for 1 second. But you can still praise Overwatch, and I'll grade it.
No, I don't know. Like, I think I didn't have a problem with their servers short of when they were updating. When they were updating the servers to send them live, because I was in the closed, like, pre-order access. Yeah, I didn't have a problem with their servers. Like, I didn't get disconnected. I didn't really see lag that much.
I might have just had a one of those weird
Yeah.
fucking disconnects or whatever, but it's not really a big ass problem because it wasn't like the game was broken and not working. Like Black Ops 3 beta was broken. It wasn't working right, but
What do
we
you
still
mean?
played the shit out of it.
My friends that I wanted to play with that were online weren't online?
Right.
Fuck Black Ops. Sorry.
But
what do you
I
think of
just
the
got
game?
disconnected. But from what I played, like I would like watch you play, and so I only really got to try out the Reaper, and his double barrel, his double shotgun shit, like those things are funny as hell. His powers are funny as hell. Overall.
And I guess my question is, especially to you, somebody that's a big Call of Duty player, how do you feel about not Paragon, Overwatch? Look, this year has like so many of these games that.
And see, that's what my fear of it is. Everybody, it's like the industry moved in a wave. Call of Duty had a major success, and everybody's like, now we got to make all the military shooters. No, our military shooters gonna be better. No, our military shooters gonna be better. And then like League of Legends, Smite, all these MOBAs and so on, just blew the fuck up out of nowhere, And then people are like, oh, now we just got to make a whole bunch of MOBAs. No, my MOBA is going to be different. No, mine is going to be different. No, mine is going to be different. And it's like, now we got all these fucking MOBAs. And it's like, people are free to make whatever the fuck they want. You know what I'm saying? They can do whatever the fuck they want. But at the same time, it's like, where does yours stand out? And
and I think that's their job. Like, that's the job of the creator. If you're choosing to jump into the race, you better make your game.
Right. But it's like only so much you can do. Like Call of Duty. Call of Duty was setting a trend for so long. They did every fucking thing. So then they started borrowing other ideas or borrowing other concepts or whatever, and people started calling Call of Duty the copycat. And it's like Call of Duty set the standard and the trend for so long. How much more modern can you get? Like, only thing I can think of is kicking your shoes off and running off without a t-shirt with bullets strapped around and like you Rambo. Like, there's not much more you can do.
I mean, they went so modern that they got 1 million dislikes.
One thing about that, I'm sorry if I'm breathing heavy. I ran up and down steps, and outside. One of the producers for Call of Duty said it best. Back when Black Ops 2 was introduced, it got the most dislikes ever of any Call of Duty, of any video they ever put up.
Right.
What's the highest selling game in Call of Duty history? Black Ops 2
right now.
I will make the point very clear. If a setting bothers you that much, that goes back to that whole conversation we had a long time ago. Do people really play Call of Duty for the campaign?
Which I think they do. But
it's a setting.
I can't say what I want to say, but I think it's just going to do well. Like, it's the internet, and like we see with anything, that how do we know an actual million people dislike that fucking video?
I mean, 1 million accounts press the dislike button.
Right.
I don't know.
So how do we know people didn't send dislike box and all that shit? Like, we know how childish people can be.
Well, no, I'm gonna say that they did do it. The only reason I'm gonna say they did do it because there was another article that said that it became a game on Reddit for people to see how high they can get it. So a lot of those dislikes aren't necessarily people who dislike
the trolls.
It's people who wanted to see if they could break Infinity War.
Right.
And make them.
And that's my point too.
It's that.
I feel like there's a lot of dislike bots. I feel like, there's bound to be a lot of people who disliked it, but I don't think 1 million people actually fucking disliked it. That's just me.
Now, I can see 1 million people deciding this is cool, let's do this. But like I said, I don't think that, like, personally they dislike it. But I can see 1 million people getting together to do it.
So, All right,
I can't see that. That's too organized.
Come on, we're talking about the internet here.
All right,
talking about the
it's too
internet.
organized. It's just too organized.
Back,
We're talking about the internet.
Back
Come
to
on.
the original question.
Right,
Some of the
that's what I'm saying. Like,
think of some of the petitions that have gone through.
Yeah, but most petitions only get like what 100,000 signatures. We're talking
Okay,
about
but that's all.
people.
They only asked for 10,000 for that one about It was one about the Xbox that they were like make it fail or something.
Make it fail?
It was something stupid. It was like they were trying to it was something weird. Like they figured if they do this, then the PlayStation won't. Nobody would buy the play. It was something stupid. It was a long time ago. And I don't remember it because I try not to digest ignorant shit.
You should.
You. But it was something like really dumb. It was like they had a weird, fucked up strategy to where I guess they figured if we broke Microsoft, they'd come up with something else immediately to beat. It was like something weird and wild like that. But it was the dumbest thing in the world. People will do dumb shit, especially on the internet. I have no problem believing that there's that many stupid people on the internet. Because I know there are. I know there are. I sorry if this is me showing a lack of how could I say it? Like that I lack thinking people have common sense anymore because of the internet, but hey.
I still make the point. I think common sense is one of the stupidest concepts
I have a little hope
ever
for human
created.
race. With the
If you're going to be, that's a complete different discussion. I think common sense is like the stupidest concept to ever exist ever. Because common sense like works off the idea that everybody is like taught very similar things growing up. And like conceptually everybody is falling in line with this certain way of thinking, which fun fact they're not.
It's funny because I think it originally meant just having a common sense of what is right and wrong or what.
And I agree.
But it has probably grown to something now where everybody feels like you should know this because
because
again, fucking
very brief tangent before we get back to the point. I think that things like ignorance has become a taboo thing in today's society, which is why people are so ignorant. Nobody wants to not know something when being ignorant is not a bad thing. Being stupid is, if somebody calls you stupid, beat their ass. But if somebody just calls you ignorant, that's not a bad thing. That just means you don't know. Which we all don't know something. So
yeah, there are things that I'm ignorant of that I'm proud I'm ignorant of because I ain't trying to know some of that shit.
Right.
But back to the point, Blak, I was asking about how do you feel about Overwatch?
All right, I got my breath back. Drank some water. I'm good. No, I love that game. It is really, really fun. I love the balance of the classes. It's funny because before I left, I heard you talking about server issues. I didn't have them on the PS4. But maybe I missed the maintenance day. I don't know. I can't say for sure. Like
I feel like mine's just a freak accident, really, because like my brother, who I was playing with, he didn't get disconnected, but I did. So I wasn't like serious, like, oh, there's servers.
So you may have
crashed.
got caught up in a maintenance cycle or
something. It was just me though. I don't think there's anything wrong with their servers. Like
I was more worried about Battleborn servers than I am about
which
Overwatch.
Kudos to 2K.
2K is Overwatch?
No, 2K is Battleborn.
Oh, okay.
I don't know how they managed to get those things to work after the way they handled it.
Oh, that's why y'all were worried about the servers.
Yeah, they're shitty ass servers.
The Evolve beta didn't work.
Yeah. I mean, but 2K servers never work.
Exactly. Except they did.
Yeah, which is weird.
Except for Steam's stupid
they got their shit together.
Preloading. But so Overwatch. So I guess the question is, do you think Overwatch is worth $40 though? Especially when it has competitors like Team Fortress 2 and Counter-Strike. With Team Fortress 2 and Counter-Strike out there for free, two games that offer.
Okay, it's $40 on the PC.
Yes. 40,
So
and
what,
then
is 60 on a console or?
Yeah, 60.
No,
I would
I'm
pay
looking now.
60
there's
and
two
I
editions.
thought it was 60.
There's two editions. There's the Origins edition, which is 60, and then there's the normal edition, which is 40, and that might only be for PC.
Okay, so the normal one is the one that they were talking about before that didn't have all the classes, right?
Well, it doesn't. You just get extra cosmetic stuff if you pay $60.
Okay, I was
I'll check
wondering.
and make sure.
Okay, because I thought it was. I remember they were going to do it
But
like
see,
free to play.
that's how you fucking do it. That is exactly how the fuck you do it. You set it at a lower price. You don't get all the shit. If you want extra shit, pay $20 more fucking dollars. We give you all the shit. Not that fucking Evolve bullshit they try to pull, where the fucking extra DLC came up to like $180 and shit. That was some
Look,
bullshit.
I still make the
I'm going to tell you now, Blizzard's going to have about the same amount of DLC.
No. See, paid DLC is fine. I don't give a fuck about paid DLC, but Evolve's model was bullshit. And the fucking developers came out and said, we're trying to fucking basically what I pulled from it was we trying to get y'all motherfuckers for everything y'all got. That's how the fuck I took it.
I took it as those skins weren't made like while the game was being made, or were made by the art team after the game was finished up. Did they handle the situation really badly? Yeah, but I didn't look at it as like, oh, we need more skins. I think it was the fact that people felt that the game didn't have enough content at its price point, and so when you see more content being sold, it looks bad.
The game was lacking in content, period. And then they charged us for some fucking skins and shit.
I still say Evolve could have been a really big game if they had made it free to play. People would probably still be playing the game.
Yes, I can agree with that. But that still does not excuse that they charged us $60 fucking dollars for some half-ass game, and then $180 for the fucking other half. That shit just don't make sense to me, man. It's wrong. They robbed us. Well, they didn't rob me because I ain't buy the shit, but...
Yeah, because I'm sitting here like I don't kind of feel robbed because
I ain't buy the shit. You know, but kudos, it was Overwatch, right? $40 and $60.
Yeah.
Kudos to Overwatch.
It's funny because Amazon only has the $60 thing.
It might just be that Blizzard is selling the PC version on Battle.net.
Yeah, they probably are.
Knowing Blizzard.
Yeah. Because I mean, I don't know why it has to be like 6. Just have the one. Seriously.
Right, but like I said, that's how you do it.
Funny.
And I would pay 60 for it. I would pay 60 for it. That being said, isn't Smite like have a character skins you can buy?
I mean, that's how most how the model, the consensus of how the model should work is you should make everything in the game free, and then...
Okay, so my question is, Smite has character models you can buy, right?
Correct.
And it's free to play.
Correct.
If you bought every character model, you would spend well over $60, right?
Depends. If you're talking about all of the skins... Easily, but that's also because at this point you're getting possibly 200 plus skins.
Right, but I'm saying like you would easily spend over 200. You would easily spend over $60, even if you wasn't getting over 200 skins. I mean, at some point you would spend $60 on Smite.
I mean, you could look at me playing League of Legends, having played League of Legends free to play for I started playing like 2010. Yeah. I think last I checked, I had spent like $400 in the game. Okay. And that's with a minute amount of stuff really bought. Like I haven't even been. I know people that spend a lot more than that. That's me like leaving the game, coming back, buying skins and stuff here and there.
Right. So my point is, they charging us for the game. They charging us extra 20 for all the skins and shit. So basically, they're giving us everything for $60 for a mobile style game. Well, not a mobile style game, but more of a Team Fortress style game.
When you say everything, you're saying like at least the start.
Because I want to like Blizzard have made it clear that they're not going to sell characters, but they are going to continue to make money. Like there's going to be skins.
I mean, you could already tell from the unlocking system that the skins are set up to be sold. Because some people are going to not want to wait by grinding to get things, and they're going to buy boxes. I guarantee you those loot boxes are going to be for sale.
Yep.
And that I have no problem with that. I personally don't. And but at least they're not doing it like Evolve did it, and that's a big plus for me. And also, at least it's at an affordable price point. Whereas,
honestly, I think that if Evolve was a better game, you feel the same way you do about Overwatch. Because I always say that. We always come down really hard on games that we feel didn't live up to standards.
Evolve,
but if a game meets the standards, it's all fair game.
Evolve and Titanfall, I think, are two games that Titanfall might still to this day I will argue was a really good game.
Yeah,
Titanfall was good.
It was a really good game. Just didn't have enough to it. And I think as a concept, Evolve had a really good concept.
Uh-oh, did he lag out?
Robo Modem. So how's everybody's day going?
It's been a long day. I can't.
Okay, am I back?
Yes, you're back.
Okay. What I was saying was my criticism of Titanfall and Evolve is pretty much the same thing. It's not that they were bad games. They had a lack of content. For me, at least. They just didn't have enough to keep me like...
But you get what I'm saying, right? If it met your standards, that's not necessarily just being a good game, but that what you just said now, if the content was to your standard, would you feel the same way about the $180 DLC?
Okay. Yeah and no. Like, the way I equate if a game is worth $60 for the most part is how much time I'm going to put into this game.
Okay, so if you were to have the same type of feeling that you do about Overwatch as you did to Evolve, would the $180 bother you?
No, it wouldn't.
You see what I'm saying?
It's
like
but see, that's what I'm saying.
doesn't. I'm just saying. I'm not saying I can't sit here and like. Do I think that they did a poor job with how they scale things? Yes, but I'm not going to sit here and try to tell everybody that they tried to rob us.
Yeah, that's
by getting extra money out of us. When everybody's doing things to get extra money. It's just that they didn't put out a quality enough product to entice me or to encouraged me to do so.
I think they were also murdered by media as well. Like, Evolve caught a really bad end of the stick because I think it's a game that has such a learning curve that people had to play the game for a few weeks to get good at the game. Like, it's a game, that's why I say free to play. Like, if somebody doesn't have to pay anything, they'll play it for a few weeks and let content come out and do whatever. It's the fact that people had to pay and then they had to wait for people to get good and people to understand the game. Because the concept worked, and I think it would work really well. It's just the issue with Titanfall was, and this is I've always said this: Titanfall should not have done the beta that it did before the game came out. Because
I kind of wish they wouldn't have done the campaign the way they did, because I never finished that campaign. Because I kept getting kicked back.
What do you mean? It's so great to just get to the last mission and then. I think I had to play the game like 10 hours straight to actually beat it because of getting kicked back. But beyond that, the reason I say that about Titanfall is I played 25 hours of the beta, and then in the first week of the game, I played like another 20, 25 hours. And by that point, I realized like there was nothing else to the game, like within like the first 10 hours of the game's full release. And it's like, and Modem, like you hit it on the head, that lack of content, both Titanfall and Evolve suffered from a lack of content. I just think Titanfall did its what it did, like it made its product, like Mike is saying, presented it better, so it lasted longer and people perceive it as better. Because again, Evolve's a joke now and has always been a joke, and I'm just look.
What's the joke though?
It's about how big of a ripoff it is, how bad of a game it is, how bad of all these other things. Where
And see, that's where I want to be clear. My criticism of Evolve is not that it's a bad game, because I think
Oh
the
no, I'm not
concept.
saying that. I'm just
No. I know what you're saying, Mike. I'm not saying that you're saying it, but I'm saying, like, to be specific, my criticism of Evolve isn't that it's a bad game, because it's not. But for the price point that it put and the way it packages stuff and everything like that, it's like, for $60, I expect to get 60 hours at minimum out of my fucking game.
So I mean, but I'll ask you that question then, because Overwatch has 12 or 13 maps, like 21 different characters, and all the kids home from school. That's what's up.
I know they at school right now.
But not in all seriousness. Like, do you think that's enough content, or like with Battleborn? Because that's another question people are presenting. Is it the fact that Battleborn has a campaign, even though the multiplayer only has 6 maps, 2 per game mode? That's okay, but it has like 25 characters? Are all of these things okay because of some other factor? Or where's that line of like not enough versus too much, or not enough versus enough content to a game?
For me, I feel like
subjective.
Yeah.
I feel like there's tiers to it. Games like Call of Duty, I'm paying $60 or even $100 for.
The robots back.
Of the season pass and whatever. But the campaign, 8 hours. Hold on, y'all.
And again, I agree, Blak. It's subjective. It is very
Because
subjective.
I know somebody who buys Call of Duty only for the campaign. That's all he wants. He hates the multiplayer, but he'll pay $60 for the campaign because he enjoys
Bless
that
his
type
soul.
of like B action movie type script thing.
Bless his soul.
Yeah. He's kind of like where I am at
Look,
with the Assassin's Creed thing, where it's like you enjoy the camp or the like badness, and that's his thing. And it's like he gets his $60 worth because he gets what he wants out of it.
and that's not me being rude to anybody. It was a joke. Please don't
No,
take that
I'd
seriously.
say bless his soul sometimes too, because I like some of the Call of Duty campaigns that I've played. Yeah, sometimes.
Can y'all hear me?
Now we can, yeah.
hear you.
As far as the dude who only buys it for the campaign, I feel like that's a personal waste. But like,
But see, that's because that's not what you buy it for.
right?
So
And like you were
how is
saying,
it a
it's
waste to
subjective.
him?
Because you're like missing out on like part of the
But that's not what he
whole
wants.
game.
So how is that a waste to him?
I mean, like,
Again, it goes back to what we were saying about
I can't
like
speak
the
for him
consoles
necessarily.
and
I'm
people.
just saying, like, for me, it's a waste. Like, if I'm gonna buy a game and they're offering, a bunch of different modes and stuff like that, I'm gonna at least try everything. And even
He tries it.
then,
He
I'm gonna
doesn't
play
like
through
it. He doesn't like it. It's not that he doesn't try it. He doesn't like Call of Duty multiplayer. He enjoys their campaigns.
look, I always make the point to people, like, I don't know how people, like, again, I buy Uncharted, like, I'm buying Uncharted for the story. Beyond that, I'm not buying it for anything, because
Yeah,
for me,
and that's perfectly fine.
shooter multiplayers for me aren't like addicting enough, or they don't provide me enough diversity for
Yeah,
me
like,
personally to keep me
hey,
playing.
I buy Battlefield for campaign first, and then I actually do sort of enjoy the multiplayer. I'll play it, but I don't play it a lot. But I really do like what they do with their single players, especially the last two.
And see, and that's what I was saying with Mike.
But
My way
if I didn't play the multiplayer, it's not a waste to me because I bought it for what I wanted, for what I like it for.
Okay, my price point point because that's the standard. If I'm paying $60, I want at least 60 hours. If I was buying Call of Duty strictly for this campaign that only lasts 8 to 12 hours, I might as well pay $8 to $12 for it.
But that's your perception.
And
that's your perspective. And that's perfectly fine for you.
Modem, that's the that's you as a buyer. Blak and I had a conversation about this back last year when the Order 1886 was coming out, and he and again, I will state mine. I don't want to speak for Blak, but I've always had this concept of if I enjoy it, it was worth the money. If I didn't enjoy it, am I kind of bummed? Yeah, but I still chose to spend the money because I felt that I would enjoy it. If I'm reasoning out the value of a game, then honestly I would still be playing League of Legends and just not have bought a game in the last few years.
Yeah, because see, I'm kind of like you. I'm like you. You know, I buy it because it's something I think I'm going to enjoy. If I enjoyed it, I didn't waste any money. If I didn't, okay, that's on me. That's what consumers do. You don't go to every movie and you like every movie that you pay for the ticket. You don't get a meal from every restaurant and every meal turns out the way that you want it to. I mean, it's. I'm not saying that that's right, but at the same time, it's consumer risk. It's always been something that's been a part of purchasing.
Well, I guess that's what it is with me. I don't take consumer risk.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Some people do, some people don't. I don't have that issue. Some people do.
Yeah.
And I think that's the thing.
I only buy what I know I'm going to spend at least 60 hours with this. I mean, and that's why
that's perfectly fine.
And that's the thing, Modem, that's why I've also gotten to a point with shooters where I am. Shooters to me, I know there's not a single Battlefield or Call of Duty that I'm gonna buy that's gonna last more than a week for me. But the Overwatches, the Paragons, the Battleborns.
And that's exactly where I agree with you, Pride. If you know you're not going to spend more than a few hours a day for a whole week at best on a Call of Duty game, don't buy that shit. Unless
what if you enjoy that 8 hours?
This is
so you're saying if I enjoy that 8-hour campaign, I shouldn't buy it?
But would you? But I was. That's your money, Blak.
Mike, what's
No, I'm just asking. I'm just saying.
No.
I think what I'm just trying to get to is that
you're
right for you. Product right for him. This
is what you're missing. Anybody can pay money to play a game. You can go to Redbox and rent a game for $2 to $3 and play a game in 8 hours. Game? Okay,
again,
but why not? You could just
it's my money
again, and you would
but
still
it's my money.
Save money. Okay, yeah, you can. But see, Mike, what you're missing and what you're really missing here, it's not about whose money is or who they're spending. It's okay, you want to play this game, you can go back to Redbox and re-rent the game.
I know I have that
Nobody
option.
is stopping.
He knows he has that option, but he doesn't want you to use that option.
And Modem,
this is
fine on him, but there's other options.
Modem,
I know, but he makes his choice. That's my whole point. You make the choice for you that works best for you.
Okay, so so then what are we calling? We shouldn't be calling it a waste then, because a waste of money.
Again, I agree.
A waste of money to me is spending money that you didn't need to spend. That's a waste.
Yeah.
If you don't need to spend.
That could be about anything, though. You could say that, you don't need to have a gaming console.
And I guess, Modem, I should ask you this. Why is it only gaming that we apply that, people generally apply that logic to? You go to a movie fully prepared to pay $10 for at most 3 hours. And most people don't even like 3-hour movies. Most people I know hate super long ass Lord of the Rings type movies where you got to sit there for 3 hours. Most people prefer something like an hour and a half, 2 hours. So you're paying essentially $5 an hour. Or you buy a CD that's an hour long. You might get more plays out of it, but the actual playtime of it you're getting for content-wise, that's why I think it's only gaming where we look at it as I have to be able to play the game for X amount of time for it to be. Whereas I'm it's entertainment to me. I'm spending the money because I want to be entertained. If I'm entertained, then that's good. If I'm not,
go back to this.
I made the mistake.
Shoes earlier. Do you not have any shoes?
You said what?
Remember we were having a discussion about the shoes. Do you not have any shoes?
No, I have shoes.
Do you not have any shoes that are comfortable?
I was originally buying them for work, but
But did you need them?
Yeah.
So you didn't have any shoes for work at all.
Well, my shoes I was using for work were getting bald, so I was like, I need to
Okay,
buy.
see now that's a need because your
Yeah.
thing's wearing out. But say you wanted a pair of Jordans, would you say
Right.
that's a need?
No, that's a want.
But you wanted a pair. So that's my thing. If I want to, if we all
Right.
broke down life to like just needs, half the shit in our houses would not exist. Let's be honest.
Right.
And that's what
I
I
agree.
get where Prod is saying, because why is it that rule applies to gaming so heavily? Why is that as gamers we're so fixated on that when nobody said really like harps on that person who wants to spend $25 on caps, like, or that person who want to buy a
Like,
$50,000 car when you don't necessarily need a $50,000 car to get around.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Why it's weird how
And-
as gamers we all pack in on that.
but and I would argue it's not even just that. It's like specifically gaming as a medium. Gamers won't think about that way. Like, don't generally apply that to like most other even forms of entertainment.
Yeah.
Right.
Like, you will go see a movie and people are going to see Captain America when it's like, what, 2 hours and a half? I'm guessing. I haven't looked at the runtime yet.
Okay, and to answer the question though, I don't know why people do that, but for me personally, I apply that logic to everything I do. Like, I'm going to go see Captain America today, right? But I'm not paying $8, $11, or $12 to go see that shit. I'm going on the days they say pay $5, you can see whatever movie you want.
Do you think
I'm looking
someone's
for-
wrong for paying $11?
No, I don't think anybody's wrong for spending their money how they want to spend
Well,
it.
and see,
but I
that's
do
the
think-
like whole thing. You think it's wrong for him to spend $60 on a game? Why isn't it wrong for that person to spend?
I don't think Modem's saying it's wrong. I think Modem's more or less saying, like,
There's
from
other options.
Modem's perspective, he's being
Well, yeah, and that's what I'm saying.
inefficient.
That's his profession. That works for
It's
him.
But see, okay, Mike. Let's say people that can only buy one game a year, and they spend $60 to play Call of Duty, right?
hmm
Just to play the campaign. That's 8 hours for a whole fucking year until another game comes out, or they got $60 for the next year, when they could have spent $2 and and rented the game, played the game, and then had a whole nother game.
That's personal
to
choice.
go buy.
Modem.
Right,
That
no,
person
yes,
chose to make that
yes,
decision.
It is.
So
And
I'm
that
not
person,
saying- but I'm
Modem.
not
that's
saying
fine.
that.
If he's comfortable with making
Yes.
that decision, then cool.
But Modem,
Wouldn't
But if
he
you're
have
not,
rather-
then I'm gonna say, well, you're not happy with that decision you made, but you made that decision. You didn't
Modem.
have to make that
like
decision.
Modem, I agree.
Again, going back to my friend, he's fine with his decision.
It's
He has the money.
inefficient. It could be inefficient to some people. Like, it's not necessarily like if somebody's like, well, I have to optimize every single thing. Like, it's not necessarily the most efficient way, but the way I buy games is no more efficient than that. I buy way too many games in a year, and some games I play for 100 hours, and some games like Fallout 4 I play for like 5.
I'm gonna go 5 hours in Fallout 4.
Fuck Fallout, and I'll say that. Like, I don't like Bethesda RPGs. I will stand by that till the date. Like, I'm not saying it's a bad game. I'm just, and that's the thing. I let myself be talked into that. Anybody that was talking to me said, "Yeah, I don't care about Fallout 4. It's a Bethesda RPG. I didn't like Fallout 3. I'm probably not gonna buy it." And I get caught up in that little hype train, buy the game, play it, and then I'm like, "Why the fuck did I buy this?"
Now see,
And that's the
Dang.
one purchase that I was like, that was a really stupid purchase on my part, because I went into a situation buying something that I more or less knew I wasn't going to enjoy. But you look at something like Until Dawn, which I didn't know whether I was going to like it or not, and I don't like horror games, and I ended up loving the game, even though I put maybe 12 to 15 hours into the game. It was worth the $60, hands down. It was worth the $60.
okay, so Prod, and just overall, what I'm saying is, people are free to make their choices, and if they're okay with the choices, that's perfectly fine, right?
hmm
But it's like, for me, and by technical and what I consider to be a waste, is people who does things inefficiently. Even if you're okay with paying $60 for Call of Duty and only playing the campaign for 8 to 12 hours or whatever, wouldn't you also be okay with paying $2 at a time to play Call of Duty whenever you want it.
Here's the thing, and this
Hold
Modem.
on, one second,
Can I respond to Modem's question?
Quick. Why does it matter to you what the other guy does with his money?
But see, it doesn't. It's just options of it.
I think that's
if you're on a budget. If you're on a budget,
it's all relative. Like
Modem.
Is it all relative? Because if you're on a budget and you only got $60 for a year,
but
that's
Modem,
you.
Here's the response. Modem, and here's the response that I'll make to you. One, like the response I'll say to your specific scenario. I am somebody that does not like the idea of having to get up, walk, or get in my car to drive and go get the game every time I get the inkling to play it. I would rather have it on my shelf, walk across my living room, grab it, and toss it in. And that is worth the difference in price, even though that's going to be like a $50 difference.
Right.
Difference. Like, it's the convenience for me is worth the difference in price. Like,
no,
that's
I understand,
me.
But again, people are
it's
free
not efficient.
to do what they want.
But I'm saying
it's like
it's not efficient. I'm not going to claim it's efficient. But at the end of the day, I'm also not going to claim I'm efficient about 95% of the shit in my life.
Yeah.
Because
I totally
if I was efficient about shit in my life, like, look, I would not be talking to people right now. I do not need. I don't need. Like, I'm looking around.
Like I said, half the stuff that we have in our homes, like my PlayStation, I don't need that fucking shit. I don't need 2 monitors. I got along fine without 1 monitor.
Right.
You know.
Now you can't.
I don't need like a 40 fucking inch HD TV.
Right.
A lot of this shit I don't need.
To me, it's not about need. It's like when it comes down to what you want.
But part of like budgeting or making these choices is kind of about whether like how do you rate it? How you, not what you think other people should look at it, but how you, that person, should look at it.
Buying RAM. Let's say there was 8 gigabytes of RAM, right?
Mm-hmm.
And somebody was like, "Yeah, I just bought 8 gigs of RAM too, and I spent $100." And you just spent $20 on 8 gigs of RAM. Wouldn't you not say like, okay, why don't you just buy this RAM? And it's just as good. It's made from
I would
same
ask them
material on
that,
it.
but if they gave me a reason that sounds like this, they have a reason that works for them. Okay,
look,
that's cool.
Modem.
Buy what you want.
Modem.
Fuck, I care.
And right, but see, it's not that I care about what people do with their money, but it's like it's the initial of, well, you could have did this. Well, I wanted to do this.
Okay,
well,
but you say I want to do that. But if that person responds, I know I could have done that, but I wanted to do this. It's over as far as I'm concerned. Because he's done what he wanted to do. He's made himself happy. I'm moving on to me and what makes me happy. Out of my, it's like, okay, he's cool with it. I'm cool with it.
And I understand that, but it's more so like some people don't know that this option was the better
if
option.
I tell him he doesn't know and he's like, oh shit, for real? Well, most people are going to be like, well, I'm going to take this back and do this. It's not like we don't know Redbox exists. It's not like my friend doesn't know Redbox exists. But he wants to do it his way. You see what I'm saying?
I still like his way.
Yeah, that's fine because that works. That's you. But for him, it's fine. And
it is. If that's how he wants to spend his money.
And that's where it should be left. It should not be like. After that, I have nothing to interject because at the end of the day, it's not affecting me in any way.
Right. And again, there's nothing wrong with him choosing to spend his money how he wants to spend it. Like, it's whatever to me. I don't give a fuck. But I'm saying, as far as me personally, I wouldn't have done that shit. I don't buy any game trying to spend, $60 on a game. I'm not gonna spend 60 hours on it. Like, playing Call of Duty, the campaigns, love the campaigns. I would never buy Call of Duty just for its campaign. I would never buy Call of Duty just for its multiplayer.
And that's cool.
I spend the
That's
majority of my time in it. But it's
that's what makes you happy.
Right. But my point is, it's a waste to me, and it's like y'all say, ineffective and all that. I just don't see why people do it. Just speaking from a personal. I mean, yeah, just because you want to do something doesn't mean you should.
there's a lot of things in life, and we've all done them, and we still do it.
That's my point.
At the end of the day,
that's my
you have to live with your consequences. And like I said, for me, if you're happy with it, I'm good with it.
Yeah, when it comes to, but see that,
as long as it don't affect me or affect a lot of people in the grand scheme in a negative way, to me, there's no conversation.
But where I feel like it got confused and the whole conversation is, I'm not talking about your friend. I'm talking about anybody.
No, I'm just saying people everywhere in general. It's not a conversation for me because you just did, as long as it's not affecting something in a negative way or hurting someone, like, and you're comfortable with what you're doing.
Right.
Now, if you did something to take, say, food out your kids' mouth, of course I'm going to say something because it's like, okay, you're hurting other people. But, you know, as long as he's not doing that, man.
Nah, and I totally understand. Like I said, I understand what you're saying, Mike. I just don't understand the idea of it in general. I don't understand ineffectiveness. I don't understand consumer risk. I don't understand paying $60 for something when you could have paid $2 and got the same amount of enjoyment with the same amount of time. I just don't understand that.
Oh, okay.
Where did Pride go?
Is he still in here?
He
probably stepped away for a second. All right, what was the next topic?
But, I forget.
Check.
So we still talking about Overwatch and Battleborn, right?
I look. We went all around that. This up to y'all.
That's what I had got cut off. But what I was trying to say with Evolve is the price point was like just ridiculously high. And if it was a lot lower, I would be okay with that. And if it had more content, I would have been okay with that. Just like Titanfall. It was a great game. It just did not have the content that I wanted it to have or that I'm used to it having to justify, in my eyes, $60.
That's cool.
How much do I have?
You have a dollar.
Topic.
$60?
No, $1. Not $60.
No, you should give 60.
What do you want? Anyways, what's the next topic?
How about this? It's $1. It's 30 days usually in a month. $1 a day. How's that work? I'm trying to
Don't put ideas. What about to come next?
See, this is why I'm not a parent, because I have my kid in school like hustling motherfuckers and all types of things.
That's a good thing.
I bet.
Good.
But you know, it's just I want nobody trying to like hustle my kids. So when he's like, give me $60, like, what the fuck are you talking about? Like, shut up.
I mean, I will say this: you have to give him credit for going high, because most people don't know to go high. A lot of people don't know.
Not this one.
Yeah, it's like you work our way down to what we want. You know.
How much is this?
Type of deal.
55 cents.
Okay, I can buy another one.
Yes, you can buy another one. But this one, he be looking up GameStop ads and shit and talking about the Wii U only $100 now.
Oh shit. He's smart.
Yeah, hella smart.
Hopefully that'll translate into something really, really good where he can end up taking care of you.
Right. Come on.
Now, question. Does
what's
anybody have any opinions on Call of Duty or Battlefield? I know you don't.
Fuck both of them.
Pride.
I'm just want to toss that out there. No, I think
I think the thing I really find interesting is the whole Battlefield 1 equals Battlefield WON. That shit to me is
Wait, what?
People are saying Battlefield 1 WON.
You're stupid.
Meaning COD's
you're trying to make a meme too hard. Calm down. And I will.
That's what you're seeing all over.
The one thing I will say about the topic, though, is that people are mad about Call of Duty more because Call of Duty 4 is being remastered and sold at what they feel is an unfair price than anything else.
But what's an unfair price though?
It's being sold like you have to buy the $80 version.
Oh no, trust me, this is just for now. This is the build sale. You know
Okay.
they sell like the remaster for $40. Come on.
This is more than likely to increase
It'll be
pre-orders
separate.
and all that shit because people are going to pre-order for COD 4. But don't the $80 edition come with the season pass?
No,
What does it come with? Why is it $80?
it comes with COD 4.
It comes with COD 4 remastered. That's the only way to get COD 4 remastered.
That's the only way to get it as of now.
Right now. Meaning, in like July, they'll go ahead and mention to people, you can get it for like $45.
Yeah, I think this is gonna be $40.
Nah, I think they'll charge you an extra $5 because they can get away with it.
But no, I mean I think 40 because I mean either way it's gonna sound good to get the Legacy Edition because I save $20-25 and I get.
Okay, so can y'all look up the $100 price point real quick?
For what, Call of Duty?
There's
Yeah.
$100.
It should be. It should have the season pass.
Editions, Call of Duty.
No, they don't have the deluxe yet.
GameStop.
It hasn't been listed. Oh, it's $100. Okay, here it is. It's sold out, or what? I don't know. Amazon.
The legacy is $80.
Right.
The deluxe is $100, and with the deluxe you get. Do they have it listed here?
Get the digital experience, Call of Duty Remastered Modern, and yeah, you get the season pass with the 100.
So for $100, you get the season pass and Call of Duty 4 remastered.
No, they didn't say that.
No, it is. I'm looking on Amazon right now.
Where-
Get
where-
the best digital value, and this funny because it says digital deluxe.
Yeah, but I don't see where
Not
it says that you're actually getting Call of Duty 4.
I'm gonna copy and paste it.
Oh, I see it. I see the product description now.
Yeah.
But see, and that's my point. People pay $100 for the new Call of Duty and the season pass. Now you're getting COD 4 remastered. You know, the holy grail of COD games, apparently.
Well, and the thing people aren't realizing is, y'all do realize it's not like the full Call of Duty 4 multiplayer, right? They've already come out
as far
and
as
said
I,
they're
It's
bringing
10
back.
maps.
They're bringing back 10 of like what 25 maps or something like that.
Well, you don't. I didn't think they were gonna bring back all the DLC. I figured.
right,
They were
I didn't think they would bring the DLC.
I don't even think
like
they're going to
what
bring
the-
back just the 10 original. I think it's going to be 10 specific.
Yeah, I think the 10 best is probably what they're gonna end up being.
Oh, it was like 4. Well, there must be an extra map somewhere because if every DLC came with 4 original maps.
No,
And
what I'm
there's
saying
4
is like,
DLC
10,
packs.
like they're gonna pick the 10 most popular map. Probably.
Right. But I mean, wouldn't we want that?
I don't know. I mean,
I-
you know my feelings about
Call of Duty 4. Look, Call of Duty 4. I played it 10. Like what? When did Call of Duty 4 came out?
Like 2007, 2006, something like that.
7, I believe.
Call of
Because
Duty
it's
4.
9 years. This is 9 years.
No.
This is the ninth year.
It was
2007.
2006.
2007.
It had to be 2006, unless.
November 2007.
Yeah, it was 2007. I remember what's
Did
the
I
name
look it
came
up?
out to.
Because
Yeah, I looked it up. November
So did Halo
2007.
come out 2008 then? Because I remember Halo came out a year later. Halo 3.
Halo 3 came out November 2000. It should have come out 2007 actually. No, 2006.
Halo 3 came out 2006.
2007. September 2007. There was like a 2-month gap.
That's so
They
weird.
said earlier this is the 9th year of Call of Duty.
But yeah, I
Call
said
of Duty
that.
Modern Warfare is a 2007 first-person shooter.
Yeah, 2007.
November 5th,
But I mean,
2007.
point being, $100 you get COD 4 remastered, and the season pass in the new game. Like,
I mean,
honestly,
people are gonna go for that. I'm pretty sure.
yeah. I mean, I go for the $100 deal every year. So you save money on the maps, you get COD 4 remastered, get the new game. I mean, I feel like all this negative shit is gonna blow over once the beta comes out. Once the beta come out, everybody gonna be like, "Yo, this is actually really good." Blah blah
Well,
blah.
We all know the COD cycle. It's an every year thing. You're gonna hear the rumblings. Then come the day it comes out, it's gonna be the highest selling game. Then a few months later, everybody's gonna hate it to death, and it's just gonna go. It's the cycle. It's just the cycle. That's how I look at it. That's why it's like it's. I think I probably don't want to come back because of the cycle. Because it's like y'all just make this such a. It's like, why do y'all do that? Like, you know you're gonna buy this game. Stop with all the complaining.
See,
Come November, you're gonna buy the game. Like me and Prod, we have like legitimate reasons. I feel like all the people who make the most noise,
yeah.
don't, because they're the ones who also keep buying it and keep it going. So how are you? How is your complaints valid?
All I'm gonna say is I played that game for like 2 years or like a year and a half, 9 years ago. I'm good. Like, I don't have that desire, and maybe that's just me. I don't have that desire to return to Call of Duty 4 like that. To spend $80 on a Call of Duty game, or to spend $100, saying that the person I'm game sharing with will probably end up getting it.
Right. That's another thing. Game sharing. It's even fucking cheaper.
Well, yeah, I mean, if you want it, you're gonna get it.
You know?
Like I said, I don't care how much they can sell that game for $200. If people really want it, they're gonna buy it.
Yeah.
Right.
You know, and that's why I keep saying, like, all the people who complain, like, oh my God, they keep saying, why are you buying it if it's bothering you that much? And it's always, you know, it's not just the YouTubers, it's regular people too. They sit there and they complain the fuck about how can't stand this, can't stand that, but yeah, I'm gonna get it.
Yep.
I don't. That's why it's like I don't understand why people. That's why I say I really do believe that there's a million people out there who will hit that button just for jokes because they know they're a joke too. They know that like their disdain, quote unquote, for this series ain't real, because if it was real, you wouldn't spend your $60 every year. Same thing with the people who complain about Madden every year. Why are you spending your money every year? NBA 2K. Why are you spending your money every year if you don't like it?
Oh no, they excuse it. It's the only sports game. That's good.
No, I don't play Madden. It's the only football game. I don't like the game. So why am I going to subject myself to that because it's the only football game?
Well, it's the only game, man.
Like, stop making fake rationalization. Just admit it. You like the game, so you want to get it. I hate when people try to convince you of like reasons outside of the real reason for shit.
Right.
Just own it. Like it's shit. Like I own it with Assassin's Creed. I know Assassin's Creed is shitty.
The only reason I disagree with you with the whole million people disliking that shit is because it's just too intelligent for them. It's just too intelligent for them.
No, it's
People
so stupid they think they're smart. I think it's one of those. It's one of those. I think I'm smart, even though I know I'm so stupid. Because they think that they're hurting Infinity Ward's feelings. And again,
really, they're just helping them out with PR.
Huh?
Really, they're just helping them out with PR.
Yeah, and it's like it's already been proven once with Black Ops 2 that shit doesn't work. So I don't get it. Just own up to the fact that you like cop people. Come on, admit it. Admit it. And the Battlefield people, please. You can't win anything off of trailers. Like, how you figure your game's gonna be better because of a trailer? I don't know.
Because people still don't realize trailers are like the easiest thing to make look good. If a game trailer looks bad, that means the game is generally going to be really bad. Because the company does not care to try and make the game look good in a teaser trailer.
And I'm sure there's some example, I couldn't think of it, but I'm sure there's some example where the trailer probably didn't look appealing and the game was actually a good game, but at the same time, it doesn't mean that. Like, how do we know World War One's going to translate into a first-person shooter?
One.
I didn't put that
Shut up.
go back.
Like, I don't. I'm very curious to see how that's going to translate. If people are going to pick up on it, they're saying how it's the best thing in the world now, but might not like fighting with bolt-action rifles.
I really feel like the COD community don't like the cluster that Call of Duty has become because it's like the thrusting is all over the place. People are higher than they usually are. They jump higher, all that shit, and it's a lot of shit going on. Battlefield feel like it's going to be the same way with all this new shit they're introducing with fucking planes and fucking
Well, they've always
horses
had
and all that
planes.
shit. Well, yeah, they always had these things, but it seems like it's going to be a little bit more chaotic. You know what I mean?
Well,
To
that's a
me,
staple. It's
at
always been
least.
like if you played on the larger maps, you had that chaos. My concern is again, you're using World War One technology. It works for mechanized warfare, but in the start of like the beginning of mechanized warfare, you're not gonna have as much, you know, to go off on. So again, like I said, the staple of most armies were bolt action rifles. There weren't that many machine guns. They were late coming. Um, you know, the horse thing, that's a real thing. I'm curious to see how many people are gonna be cool with doing horse charges. You know how that's gonna work out in a first-person shooter.
Yeah.
Um, you know, are they gonna let you fly the dirigibles? Like, are you gonna fly the blimps? And if so, what's the combat effectiveness of that? It worked back then because they were good bombers, but
People aren't gonna have fun with that.
that's why I say I would love to see like what they're gonna take and what they're not, and how it's gonna like translate. Multiplayer wise, like me, again, I like their campaigns, and I actually am a huge history person, so I would get it just to see how they capture World War One in the campaign. But multiplayer wise, I don't know. I really don't know what it's gonna be. Like, I really don't know what it's going to be. So to say it's quote unquote one, which, by the way, no Battlefield has ever outsold a Call of Duty. So
They never do.
Yeah.
Yeah, people may praise it more, but I think COD is fine with their sales over the appraisal because again, that's what they're doing it for.
COD is gonna do well no matter what.
Yeah, so I don't know why y'all screaming all that stuff, but hey, it's the
Just
internet.
get easy.
I know. Lord help me. All right, so do we have any weird shit?
Not that I've seen lately. But before we do, I wanted to say, do y'all think they've taken enough time to develop this game?
What? Call of Duty?
No, Call of Duty is gonna be fine. Trust me on that. But Battlefield 1, do y'all think it's enough time?
DICE has multiple teams, and they have a dedicated Battlefield team.
Yeah, if they
that team's been working on it since 4, and 4 is how old now?
Long enough.
Yeah.
When did 4 come out?
2013, 2014, something like that.
2013.
Because they had a special
launch
edition
title for the consoles.
But with that, I'm gonna have to bow out.
Yeah, I think we're pretty much done though.
Yeah, I think we've talked about everything.
Cause it's getting late.
Yeah, go cook your dinner and make me some food because I haven't eaten all day.
Real quick, I'm gonna tell everybody out there, come through the stream tonight. We've been streaming every single day, so I'll see y'all there. Thank you, Blak, Modem. A lot of fun.
All right, homie. Most def.
All right.
Talk to you later.
And I think that's pretty much it. So
I gotta get ready to go see Captain America.
Huh?
I was like, I gotta go get ready to see Captain America.
Yeah, go. Please let me know how it is.
Most def, I will.
Can't wait to see it myself. In fact, I might see it sometime soon.
I hear it's like hype as hell, and I'm just really excited to go see this shit.
Yeah, I know. I am too, because I heard they did a really good job. But all right, everybody. Thank you for everybody who came through and watched. Appreciate it. And hope you enjoyed the show. We will see you next time. Peace.